Hello everyone, this is Dumbo349 and today I wanted to go over the new update for Bloons TD Defense Battles. It is not released yet, but on Facebook they have posted a few screenshots of what is to come, and this was one of them. We see here all these different towers with upgrades and some balloons underneath them. So what is happening in the next update? What is this? This is so different from what we're so used to seeing. A new club arena perhaps, but no, I don't think it's going to be well, it might be a new club arena, but I think what they're aiming with this update is to introduce an entirely new game mode that involves these cards here, instead of a battle round unlock sort of thing. Well, I might do, but I think the gameplay is going to be based around these cards here and all the different upgrades for them, and it's going to be just entirely different with how we are used to seeing Bloons TD Defense Battles. And so I'm going to go over today what I think those changes are going to be. So first of all, there's all these new cards, right? Do you have all of them unlocked? Do you have all the upgrades unlocked? Do you get the upgrades normally? Well, I think that you're not going to be allowed to upgrade a tower as such, but instead you get to choose a random assortment of cards or something. I don't know how you unlock them, but you'll get a random assortment of cards, and each of those will have an upgrade counter beside them. As you can see, this Dark Monkey, I'm hovering the button over, says 00 right next to it. I'll just zoom in, 00 right there, and what that means is it's going to be an unupgraded Dark Monkey that you can place for $150. You'll still get your income normally, but if you have this card, you'll be able to send I don't know, 50 reds for $8, or place a Dark Monkey. It might be turn-based as opposed to, you know, continuous gameplay going for both sides. It might be turn-based, but we'll have to see. And $150 for a Dark Monkey is actually cheaper than it would be normally. Normally it costs $200 in normal battles, but this one it's only costing $150. Or you can get red balloons that send and give you 8 income, which is quite a lot by way of normal battles. If that was a normal battle, sending 50 reds for $8 right off round 1, the economy would just be so high if it was sent like that. So that's another aspect that makes me believe that it will be a turn-based gameplay rather than straight up rounds and you can send whatever. They might still have the round thing in it, and they might still have an income based around that, but I believe the gameplay will be turn-based. I don't know, maybe you'll have a certain amount of seconds to be able to use one of these cards. But what I want to do now is go through each card that's shown individually and tell you whether it's cheaper or more expensive than what it should be. I've got my calculator right on hand to be able to figure out what the upgrades and stuff will cost. So we already know the Dark Monkey is pretty good for its price, as well as the reds. Maybe the colour of the card also affects when it can be used. So they'll still have the round timer in, so maybe you can only use blue cards after round 12 or something, because they each have camo or lead detection, I've noticed. Whereas the other ones are rather low level. The red ones seem rather low level, green is sort of medium, or maybe green and blue is sort of on par, but that's what they appear to be for me. And so we're going to go through the other cards now, so let's go through this blue card here, the triple darts one. I'm not sure whether that is more or less, let me just check. So 200 is the base price, plus 120 plus 90 for 10, plus another 120 for 20. That makes 410. And on top of that we have 140 for to upgrade to 2-1, plus 170 to upgrade to 2-2, plus 380 you upgrade to 2 free, and that comes up to be about $1,100. And I might just do a quick check to see over my whoops times. Sorry, I did my calculations wrong. Excuse me for a second. I think that's right. Maybe it's slightly worse, but it seems to be that it normally costs $1,100. So the upgrade price we've got listed over here is slightly less, or slightly more than what it should be. 20 zebras for 38 income. Now normally you wouldn't even see anything over 10 balloons really being sent at any one time. So this is very strange that we're sending 20 zebras and getting 38 income from that. So that is another point that leads me to believe that it's going to be in an entirely different game mode than what it originally is, what Battles is supposed to be. Alright, moving on to the next one, we have Moab Mauler. So it's 650 base price. It is 2 free, so I believe the first upgrade on the left side is 200 plus 300, I think, and we're already pretty up there. Plus 400 for bigger bombs, plus another 400 for the missile launcher, plus we'll just say 800 for the Moab Mauler, and that's supposed to be 2750. 2000 for Moab Mauler, that's pretty good. But what's really interesting is this bottom card here. We have a Moab, send a Moab and lose only 30 income for $2,000. Now usually you lose about 100 or so by sending a Moab in regular battles, which really is exponential how much it affects your eco if you do not get up anymore. If you send a Moab and it's decreasing your income by $150, that means every 6 seconds from then on it has cost you $150, which is absolutely insane once it adds up and you don't have any income left, which is why people go farms in regular. But that's a subject for another story. What's interesting is you only lose 30 income, and it has been buffed slightly to 2,000, but that's about maybe 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, it's more effective to send this than just a regular Moab in battles. So that's pretty interesting as well. Alright, on to the next one. We have the Wizard, the 2-2 Wizard, everybody's favourite tower, especially if you're on indoor pools. So we'll just do a quick check. $550 for the base price, plus, what is it for the other ones? Oh yeah, plus, the first side, it's like bigger bolt or something. I think that costs 300, so that's 850 so far, plus 1200 I think it is for the lightning upgrade. That one's quite expensive if I recall correctly, plus another 600 for the other two upgrades for the left side, so that's the camo and the fireball. And look, it even says you can send camo, it can detect camo and lead, so that's another useful feature of these cards. They tell you what special balloons they are good against, which I suppose would be useful if you've been introduced to the game. And underneath it we also have lead balloons times 6 for $35 increase in income. The only downside is they cost $750 to send, but that's not very much for its price, I'd say. So I don't know, if I got that card I'd probably be a little bit skeptical about using it. Anyway, on to the next one. $3,000 for a Summon Whirlwind Wizard. These are not very useful in average play, because if you send a regrowth rush against a Whirlwind, everybody knows the balloons just multiply, because the time that they're not spent getting hit, they're just going to regrow back, and if you pop a layer, it regrows, it goes into 2. So like, think of it this way, you send a white at a Whirlwind Wizard, it blows it back, and that destroys a layer into 2 pinks. Those 2 pinks could regrow back into 2 whites, and that's the basis for if you increase the amount of regrow balloons you send, it's ultimately just going to farm and build up, and suddenly they don't have enough defense to defend a rush. So it is a summon whirlwind wizard, so we'll start at the base price of 2,050 for a 2-0 wizard, plus I think it's 2,000 for summon whirlwind, so that makes 4,050, and this one's only costing 3,000. So definitely a price nerf on some of these upgrades that aren't really used that often, because they just end up killing you in regular battles. But I'd like to see that they are pricing them down a little bit. It's always good to see. Okay, moving on to this next one, we have the bomb tower for $500, usually costs $650. Again, this is one of the smaller towers to use, I suppose. It's not something that you would you don't place a bomb tower for the 0-0. You don't place anything really for the 0-0 unless it's the 0-0 dart monkey, of course. But this is cheap lead detection, $500. Probably the cheapest you can get in the game. One of the cheapest anyway. And you can also send 25 blacks for $500 and get up 20 income, which seems slightly more economical than the leads. But that's a subject for another time, maybe when the update is out. Okay, moving on. Next we have the tack sprayer, which is a free 0 tack. These things are actually very good versus Moabs. I'm surprised they don't have this Moab thing right here, because what happens is this thing shoots 16 tacks all around itself, so it sort of like goes in a circle, and then you got 16 going in each different direction. But it shoots relatively fast, faster than the Moab Mauler over here. And so that's why in certain cases, if your opponent isn't layering against you, a tack sprayer may actually be better to defend a Moab with than a regular Moab Mauler. And it might do a bit more damage to the Bloons, who knows? You'll have to test that one out for yourself. And on the other side of the card, we have 50 greens for 24 income, costing $500. So definitely less Bloons, but definitely more of an income card, this one, I'd say. More of an early game sort of thing. Spike Factory 0-0 for $700, normally costs $750. But it can hit camo Bloons, which is one of the few advantages to using this tower in battles. And one of the other ones it has is you can send 100 reds for $700 and get up 20 income. I think that's slightly worse than this one over here. 50 reds, 100, 50 reds for $150, or 100 for 700. I mean, I think I know which one you'd pick realistically. You'd choose to pick the red for $50 because you're obviously going to get your income back quicker. Which really does lead me to believe that this is going to be more of a turn-based, random sort of style gameplay instead of one that you can effectively use a strategy for. This one is definitely going to be a bit more luck-based. I would much rather prefer to have this Dart Monkey card over here as opposed to this Spike Factory one over here. Anyway, moving on to the next card, we have a Glaive Thrower 2-2. I can already tell that it is economical for its upgrade because the base price is $400, and that's like $270 for a 1-0, another $240 on top of that for a 2-0 to get the actual just glaive upgrade itself. But this is a 2-2 one, 2-2 Glaive Thrower. I mean, it can hit leads for $800, which is pretty cheap. As far as that goes, and it's a decent tower. Not the best, but decent. And you can also send 120 blues for an income increase of $40, with 800 for another $800. Interesting. Is that better than this one over here though? This ninja, which is a 1-1 ninja. The base price is $500. I'm pretty sure it costs $250 for either side of it, so that's another $500 plus $500 equals $1,000. So it costing $800 is certainly a price buff, I suppose, to the tower, which means it's going to be used a bit more. And you can also send 55 divided by 17 equals 3, so you're getting about 3 per income, per balloon, I suppose, with the blues. For the 120 blues, however, you're getting 120 divided by 40, which is straight up free. So you're getting actually slightly more income for using the ninja, as opposed to the glaive thrower. So I know which one I'd be taking, although I might be dying to leads. We'll have to see. Alright, next on our list are the 9th tower is the cluster bomb. The cluster bomb is very useful for group balloons in general, apart from blacks. So if I have this green card and somebody has this 0-0 bomb tower, oh, I'm in a bit of a pickle, really, unless I have some other cards. But this cluster bombs cost 1900. I think that's a reasonable price for it. Let me just check on my calculator. 650 for the base price, plus 200 for the range upgrade, plus 300 for frags, plus 800 for the cluster bombs upgrade, and it comes to 1950. So a slight buff to cluster bombs here. And we can also send 40 pinks for $600 for a $25 income. So let me just check 20 divided by 1.6. Pretty decent. Yeah. My thoughts so far, these cards are going to be the only way you can rush and build towers, I believe. Otherwise, why would you send 100 red balloons for $70 as opposed to just 50 from a dart monkey? It just seems really, really silly. Some of these are going to need to be changed, obviously, unless it's just a random thing, which it looks like it will be. That's the only way that it could really be balanced at the stage that it seems to be at. And obviously you unlock different cards at different stages of the game. Will it be turn-based though? I suppose it could be turn-based. And you can either build a tower or send some balloons. That'd be really interesting. I think we're going to have an interesting game type on our hands. Anyway, back to the next one. Ace, a rapid fire pineapple dropping ace. They're decent for leads. They're relatively alright for leads. And you can send 40 region whites. 40 region whites, what am I saying? You can get 40 income from sending 30 region whites for $1,500. Now obviously you're not going to be sending these for the income. 1,500 and only 40 income increase? No, you're sending it to rush. If you have a tornado wizard and somebody sends region whites at you, you best hope they have a battle energy card in there somewhere, otherwise they're probably going to be multiplying those regions like crazy. We might just do a quick ace price check. So I'm pretty sure it's 950 for the base price, plus 200 for the pineapple drops, plus I think it's 700 for rapid fire, equals 1850. So another buff to the 1-1 ace. I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern here. Okay, and we get a 1-1 wizard. It can pop leads, obviously. The wizard by itself can pop leads. We'll probably see a price buff on the original wizard card. Oh my goodness, I just realized. Ah, wow. You know what I think it is? Red is the base card, and blue is like the sort of upgrade path you can choose to take. So red is the first tier, blue is the second tier, and green is the third tier. So you see we've got third tier upgrades. This one is the only exception to the rule, but I think it's just because it's such a used tower that it's been put into the green lump. And you see we've got 3-0, 4-0 for the greens. Yeah, greens are about third tier, like top level towers, and blue is sort of mediocre-ish towers. I mean, tax squares in there, but I think that's how it's going to work, guys. Wow, seeing it here first, folks. Predicting something here. So Intense Magic Wizard for 1500. That's quite a lot. And then yellows, 35 yellows for 1500. You'd be sending them to kill them, I imagine, for $20 up. Oh, so you see this wee icon here, this like blue sort of thing. I think that's going to mean that it's going to be grouped, and then if it's like this means it's going to be spaced. Wow, this is going to be like a completely different game type. But I do think it's going to be tiered like that: red for tier 1, blue for tier 2, and green for tier 3 and tier 4. But we'll just do a quick price check on this. Was it $550 for the base price, plus 300 is $850, plus if it's another 300, $1150. So this thing is actually more costly. But I think it might be, you got a 0-0 wizard for, I don't know, $500 I'd say, maybe $450. You get the 1-1 and it costs $1,500. And then you get the 2-2 wizard and it costs $2,400. Maybe that's one specific path you can take. Who knows how it works? This is really interesting. I'm really starting to like this. Juggernaut card. A 3rd tier card. It's a Dark Monkey. It can pop lead. Juggernauts are always very useful, especially with battle energy. Alright-ish without. They're good when they're spammed and a lot. And you don't have battle energy, that's when they're most effective, and when they're of course crushing leads and ceramics. So let's just do a quick check. 200 for the base price, plus 90, plus 120, so that's 20, plus 500, 910, plus 1750 it costs in battles. $2,660. It's been put down to $2,300. So again, quite economical, and you can send 6 leads for $30, incoming creeps for 600. Not bad indeed. 20 blacks, giving. Let's start with the income for this one. So, hang on. Oh, there it is. There's my little thingy. 20 blacks for $500 for $25, and they're going to be spaced because there's no grouped icon beside them. Yeah, that's pretty good. Seems pretty reasonable. Glaive Ricochet, on the other hand. Ooh, I'm interested about this. Sorry if you heard the calculator noises. So, 400 for the base price, plus 270 for the multi-shot, that's a 1-0, plus 240 for the glaive thrower, which is very nice, plus 1300 for the glaive ricochet. For the glaive ricochet, I mean, look at that spelling there, glaive. For the glaive ricochet, costs 210 and it costs 2000. So they're slightly cheaper with all these upgrades here. But look what it says. It says down here, this is just the beginning. So there's going to be obviously a lot more towers and a lot more gameplay to come. So yeah, this is just a first look at what we possibly are going to see in Bloons Tower Defense Battles coming next week. This is Saturday the 11th of June 2016, and next week, probably on Saturday or Sunday, we can expect to see this new update featuring these new cards and much more, just so long as they don't cost money for the cards. Alright, that's going to be all for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, press that like button. Otherwise, I'll see you in the update. Alright, bye folks, this is Dumbo349, out.